Welcome, Dan. Welcome to PT Asks You.
Hey, John, what up?
What up? All right. So the person I'm going to talk about has a lot of controversy around them for various reasons. But I think at the end of the day, most people would agree he's a pretty special individual with what he does and how he does it. I'm almost afraid to say the name now that I had that lead up. The person's Tom Cruise. And where this comes out is I saw something online about recently, a few weeks ago, he pulled off what they consider the greatest stunt ever. For those that don't know, Tom Cruise does all his own stunts. He doesn't use stunt people. And it's this crazy piece they did. And I watched this 10-minute clip about the stunt and how they built up to it, all the things they went through for it. And then him and his stunt coordinator were standing around. And at the same time, they look in the camera and they say, "Don't be careful, be competent." The other thing this leads me to is Mike Rowe, the guy that did Dirty Jobs. Apparently on his set, they all wear hats that say safety third. And what they're saying is we don't want to not be careful. We're not trying to hurt ourselves or anybody else for obvious reasons. But the way you push and the way you achieve new levels of however you define success, or you go further with something, is you can't sit around and constantly have a mentality of safety. So it's the conversation around it's 55 miles an hour up to maybe 70 or 75 miles an hour on some highways. Why not 40? 40 would be safer. We'd all be more constrained and therefore fewer accidents, all that kind of thing. So at some point, though, you have to release the shackles. You have to let people go and improve and not be hindered by always worrying about the cautious side of things. And I think that analogy plays really well in the sales environment, because we tend to get cautious as we have more success, and we tend to become protective over what's in-house clients we have, rather than stretching and pushing and always trying to do something new, bigger, better. And I think it's an opportunity in sales to do just that. Make sense?
Oh yeah, so many things were going through my mind as we were talking.
Yeah.
One of them is where you look and where you focus is where you go.
Yes.
So driving, of course, if you see, a car pulled off to the side of the road, don't look at that car as you're driving by, because you could have a tendency to go towards that. You always keep your eyes focused on the road.
Yep.
Ahead of you, and I think it's just about where do you want to be, where do you want to go. That's where you go. When I was a lifeguard, one of the things that we were taught was when someone's running on the pool deck, do not say to them, "Don't run," because the subconscious mind doesn't hear the word "don't," it only hears the word "run,"
That's interesting.
and it would make them actually want to run more. What you instead say is "walk." It's very direct. It
Yep.
is. And so part of this, John, is teaching our brains to think differently. If I think to myself, don't crash, don't fail, don't do this, right? What my subconscious here is crash, fail. And we think of the bad
Yes.
stuff, as opposed to, this is so exciting. I can't wait to succeed. I can't wait to make this happen. And it's a different mindset. And as long as we're realistic and we're not just throwing caution to the wind, I think great things will happen. And I'll end with this. My son is leaving tomorrow for 2 months in India. He's 23 years old, and everything inside of me wants to protect that. I go, well, don't
Like,
go to
hug him
India.
and don't let him go. Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing to be concerned for safety, but it's down at the bottom of the list. The first thing I told him was, have a fantastic adventure.
Yep. Greatest time of his life, maybe.
Bingo. Absolutely.
Yeah. You got me thinking a little bit as you were walking through that, though, around the concept of visualization and how a lot of people, before they do something, they visualize succeeding at it, because then they feel that it's there for them. And that keeps them away from some of those things that you were talking about. And it keeps them focused on the success of what's about to happen, and not the concerns around failure or limitations or those kinds of things. Do you buy into visualization? Does it work for you? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine if you're going to make a prospecting call and you have two different choices. Choice number one is, before you dial that phone, you visualize the other person happy to take the call. They're
Yes.
excited to talk to you. Choice number two, they want to swear at you and slam the phone down.
Yep.
Which one gives you the more the desire to actually make the call? and
Yeah.
and so there is something to visualization that, and I don't know how it all works. And I'm not saying it's magic or anything
No,
like
of
that,
course not.
but
Yeah.
we do put off vibes to people that they pick up on. And
Of
if I'm
course.
nervous, people are nervous. If I'm happy,
Yep.
people are happy. And I think it's very common.
Yep. There we go. All right, everybody. See you again tomorrow.
Have fun.